What's up, Army? Welcome back to Redemption 46 Studios. I'm Nick.
안녕,
And I'm Curtis.
You know the vibes. Y'all seen the picture. Y'all seen the thumbnail. Y'all know why y'all here. V-Day, V-R-M,
Happy
4
Tay Day.
o'clock.
Happy Tay Day.
I don't care what time it is. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button and become a real redeemer today. If y'all love content like this and want to see the live performance, make sure you guys join the Patreon. Don't know too much about 4 o'clock. What I do know is this song
6 o'clock right here.
I heard V say the song, he made the song for Jimin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
This is supposed to be about the dumpling incident, or at least the song was made afterwards. I know V always used to go to some park or whatever, ironically, like around 4 o'clock or something like that. And when him and Jimin got into that whole dumpling thing and they weren't talking, when he told him to meet him at that same park that he goes to at 4 o'clock. And that's when they were there for hours talking about everything and stuff like that. He thought he was going to lose his best friend. And
I wonder if they made Best Friend after that.
They made Friends after that.
Yeah. Well, I know Best Friend was kind of like.
Well, no, they said they didn't make that because of that.
Okay.
Remember, because I had said that in the
Okay, it's been a while.
Friends reaction. They were like, "No, they didn't make this because of the Mandu incident." I'm like, "All right, bro, I just said it could be one of the things, but you know, they didn't make this because of the fucking Mandu." I'm like, "Yeah."
When did they say this came out and shit?
4 o'clock should have been a couple of years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
I hate that shit too. When like it's not popping.
Just say 3 weeks ago. Nah, hold up.
Because I had seen a joint that remember when they did the carpool karaoke?
Yeah.
And remember when they brought up who's more likely to argue? Mm-hmm. And they was like 4
years ago.
And they was talking about V and Jimin. Mm-hmm. I know he said that had irritated him.
Yeah.
He said because
the carpool karaoke itself had irritated him?
and now
the statement on there.
And now I think when you look at it, you can see him and Jimin face kind of be like, yo, why y'all bring up like that dumb shit almost?
I didn't even notice that. That's crazy.
Yeah, like you'll see Tay kind of look away and you'll see Jimin like kind of laugh it off, but kind of like make a face. And I know it was supposed to be a joint where he talked about it and shit. Maybe I'm getting too into everything and we should do everything and shit. No, because I'm giving a whole bunch of information that I remember kind of seeing and that people was talking about and shit like that too. And I don't want to say something or kind of word something wrong and then people be like,
Nonetheless, I mean, the implication of it is certainly interesting.
I just know not too long ago that basically he had stated like the song was about that he thought he was going to lose his friend and everything like that. And the song really is about Jimin. And I thought someone said it might have been even when he does this live, a lot of times you'll see Jimin like recording him all happy. Like, you know, my best friend made a song about me and shit like that or whatever.
Sentimental guys.
Have we ever we talked about the dumpling incident a couple times, didn't we?
Yeah, we watched the video.
We watched the joint.
We watched
didn't
BTS fights and hate and stuff.
I wasn't around for one.
V was at the center for like 3 of them Jones.
I know. That is crazy.
Him and Jimin.
Why is it always you three?
Him and Jin.
Him and Jin
joined. RM was telling him when he like dismissed him basically. It's like, who asked you or whatever.
Ironically, the RM features kind of what's drawing my curiosity now. Just knowing about that story, I wonder if like the leadership aspect in RM is kind of like, okay, I'll be the one to portray the other side of this or the verse structure of it, or
could be.
I don't know, but it just kind of makes it a little more interesting for me in that regard as well.
Well, their relationship is interesting too, like V and Jimin, because I think you had touched on it like a couple times, ironically, in the last couple weeks about how whoever is born in your line is, you feel like you're freely able to talk to that person.
You could talk to them casually.
Yeah, as opposed to like certain shit V and Jimin can say to each other, they can't say to RM kind of right out almost. So I feel like, and I forget who said, was I watching a Jimin interview, and he was almost like, with that being said, sometimes the back and forth that they have is almost just like bitching at each other sometimes, even though they're joking. Almost it almost would be like me and your banter. If we joking going back and forth, me and you can do that, but I wouldn't let nobody else
do that.
Talk to you or something like that. But me and you can joke a certain way, but no one else could and shit. And that's kind of what I got from that when we always talk about like the liners. So I always wonder from situation. I know Jim was mad about the whole like, nigga, if you said we gonna eat after practice, then we should have just ate after practice. And I don't know what was going on in the gym in mine. You know,
was-
sometimes he'd
I
be on a
was
diet
hungry.
or just, or you know, Tay just be like, fuck it, I bit it already. Like,
No, I was
just
gonna
eat
say
it.
V's very much so his own man. That's one of the things that kind of like attracted me to him as far as being a bias and everything is because he's his own man and he kind of goes on his own accord. I relate to that. So it's just like, not to be like an asshole or anything, but it's just like, bro, I'm fucking hungry. Like, I'm about to eat one of these joints. We got money. We can get some more food. Like, chill the fuck out. Like, that would definitely
You'd have been
be
mad
my
if you
response.
bit it already. I'm like, bro, come on. Like, we reacted already. Like, I'm trying to finish this joint. I'm like, yo,
I'm
we
gonna
can't
eat.
do it after we done.
I was like, my man, I'm going to eat. You can edit
We
this.
we all just said, Lodo, you told us, but you were the one that told us to wait.
I know what I said, and now my stomach telling me things. Like,
Really, V. Yeah, no, long time.
I am at the center of a lot of our joints here, whether it be you or Keith or this nigga. Well, Jarek not here, but Jarek.
Let's say the mock day.
That's true then.
Nah,
I
Zach
know, but I
the
was
Monk.
just
Oh
saying,
yeah.
like-
Yeah. No, that is true. Then you would be at the center of a lot of back and forths.
I just be chilling.
Yeah, I'm cool. I'll hug you right after I'm done saying my shit.
Yeah, it's the other two. It's the other two.
I got nothing but love.
It's the other two. I'm gonna push out the window and shit.
That's funny.
But yeah, so if I was wrong and shit, y'all could jump in the comments. Let me know. Like if I was
I'm
wrong.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I forget a lot of the specifics of the dumpling incident, so it's just like, you know.
I think it was something that got bigger than it was just because once
And that's what I heard. A lot of
yeah.
you know, things like that. But
That's all it really was, though, bro. It was really just them.
I just also think they're just such a sentimental group that things like that can
well,
be
shit snowballs. I mean,
yeah.
if you went through again like practice or any of these other tough things where it's a strenuous day, there's emotions are high, whatever. You know, the first thing could have easily, you know, set any.
Especially with their
anything
whole hierarchy structure of how they're
But I
how it's
honestly don't
considered
know
to be
the specifics,
respectful
so
to each other. and
Jim
everything.
might have did what I think V did that day with Jim, where even if something was light, y'all kind of carried it a little more than it needed to get carried on.
When you got an attitude with somebody about something, you can definitely turn it into something else. I've seen people do that shit. They're like,
So-
bro, you was already mad about something. You just needed something to.
So that's why I
reason
said.
to go
That's
out.
why I
Yeah.
said I'm not sure whether it was something with dieting with Jimin, or maybe they wanted to really get that practice out the way, or it might have been frustration from something else.
And I will say, and I'm not going to speak on the specifics of it, of course, but I'm very like, you know, like I'm not sure if this is any bit relevant whatsoever, but I remember there was a lot of shaming with Jimin going on about his weight and everything, to where he was missing meals, passing out of practice. Again, this could be years apart. This could be totally isolated incidences, but nonetheless,
It's all relevant here.
if you were someone who was dieting or not eating, and then you had an incredibly tough practice, and then that was the one thing you were going to eat that day, or something that, as far as saving calories or something, I can understand it being a bigger incident than just simply a dumpling incident. But again, that's you know, I have no idea on the specifics of it, of course, but just, you know, nonetheless, it's just kind of, I'm glad that this is a track about putting everything behind, and I do think there's, even as Bang had emphasized, you know, in many times where it's like him and RM both, as far as like there's something really good about hashing things out, even if you disagree on something, and ultimately it makes you stronger. So I'm kind of eager to see how this would correlate to some of that.
Yeah, because I was about to say I don't even know if like quote unquote I think Army knows shit just off of what they've said. You know what I mean?
I know they've healed themselves from it and then spoken on it, or at least they had given implications that they deal with things internally and then kind of are more willing to talk about it later on. But I'm not sure about this.
I'm assuming the argument must have been bigger. If Arm was telling both them niggas to leave the room, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure it must have been big enough for that. And then I think Jimin was like, they was arguing outside too when they left what was going on, still was arguing. And V said he didn't talk to him for days afterwards. So it just was, you know, and they best friends and chop it up like every day and shit. So it's just like, you know,
Yeah.
it had to have
So
to.
just reading the joint, it says, this soulful song talks about the early morning just before dawn, a time V said he would often spend sitting waiting to meet friends, particularly fellow BTS member Shiman.
Okay.
We'll see.
Cool. Then yeah, let's jump into this and have a conversation when we're done.
Great wordplay.
Where are you?
알고 있는지 여기 나와 너뿐인데 Me and you Oh you 깊은 밤을 따라서 너의 노랫소리가 한 걸음씩 두 걸음씩 붉은 아침을 따라와 새벽은 지나가고 저 달이 잠이 들면 함께했던 푸른 빛이 사라져 오늘도 난 적당히 살아가 발맞춰 적당히 달아가 태양은 숨을 막히고 세상은 날 발가벗겨놔 난 어쩔 수 없이 별 수 없이 달빛 아래 흩어진 나를 죽고 있어 아까운 문자 우린 달의 아이스
Moonchild.
Yes we're living it down at the same time 화식금은 눈 떠도 돼 어느 영화처럼 이 대사처럼 달빛 속에서 온 세상이 부르니까 어스름한 공원에 노래하는 이름 모를세 Where are you? Oh you 왜 울고 있는지 여기 나와 너뿐인데 Me and you Oh you 깊은 밤을 따라서 너의 노랫소리가 한 걸음씩 두 걸음씩 붉은 아침을 따라와 새벽은 지나가고 저 달이 잠이 들면 함께했던 푸른 빛이 사라져 깊은 밤을 따라서 너의 노랫소리가 한 걸음씩 두 걸음씩 붉은 아침을 따라와 새벽은 지나가고
They both have such beautiful
저
voices.
달이 잠을 들면 함께하는 푸른 빛이 사라져 새벽은 지나가고 저 달이 잠이 들면 함께했던 푸른 빛이
That was beautiful. You know this ain't about you right now. Shout out RM though, man. When I heard the vocals vocaling,
Runt's always the one, man, that just make a song like, all right, you want to do this? So, okay, bet. I'll match that
Ironically,
energy.
too, for how slow and somber much of the song was, I didn't expect his cadence to kind of be as fast as it was. But yeah, they both really did their thing.
Breathy V, man. I've been here for it, man. This felt like poetry. I don't know. I felt like they was like reading a haiku or something out loud almost.
I remember doing haikus in school.
Yeah, I feel like I was in that park with him and shit, hiding behind a tree or something, waiting for Jim to
You know, it's crazy enough. It's always interesting to see how different people interpret like times of day or things like that in nature. This sounds more like a dusk song to me than dawn. It sounds like the day's ending, the sun's kind of going down, and it's just like you reflecting on that, as opposed to like when I think of the sun rising and stuff like that. I actually need like piano versions. Like I listen to the piano version of Sugar's Seesaw every morning.
When you get up.
That and I Need You. I listen to that. Shout out to Duke Piano, by the way. They do BTS covers. Amazing. But that's actually how I start my day. Like literally when I wake up, the sun's not up. Well, it don't matter if the sun's up or not. But definitely when the sun is rising, I usually get up like 5:30, 6 o'clock. So I'll play those. And this, like I said, I think of my day winding down. Kind of like, it's been what a day. And more reflection. So it's always dope to kind of hear different people have different interpretations or like feels for different like nature moments in nature or moments in time and things like that. So I thought that was a very dope. I thought I pressed play. Oh, I did. But yeah, I love the lyricism here too, especially once RM comes in, because you already know where he's gonna like take it and everything.
Can I jump on something too
Yeah, go
that you
ahead.
said real quick? I don't want you to lose your train of thought, but
No,
I
yeah, go
love you brought up the scenery thing, because this is. And it's funny, RM is on here because when we literally just did a day with RM, he was at the park as well. And so it's funny how, I don't want to paraphrase or speak for people. I love how these two grown men, just them two in particular for right now, still go outside, read books and do certain stuff, because maybe it's just the people I'm around don't really have the time to either do it, or maybe Philly, you just don't want to be at a park right now and shit, because maybe things might go a little left depending on
Not only that, it's fucking 6 degrees outside.
Yeah,
like
well, yeah, but I just mean almost in general, like, not to turn this into a thing, but like, this whole summer, were you at any park? Just like,
I
chilling
go to
and
Kelly
shit
Drive
like
and sit there all the time.
Never mind.
No, real shit. That's the old me.
Okay,
That's the old me. No,
I'm glad you know. Were you at any parks or anything, Kurt?
I go to Kelly Drive in morning times when the sun is like up or whatever like that. If I got time, I'll go sit at Kelly Drive, start my day there usually.
I am trying to change my life around, and one of my things for next year is I do want to do hiking more, bike riding, and certain things with nature I am going to be doing in 2023 and stuff. So I do want to get a little bit more on this type time. But I love that for them. And I know some people might be like, that's random as shit. Like, all my friends go hiking.
Cool for you.
That's
Jenna,
your friend. I feel like that's a for sure subscribe.
Jenna, like, dude, I'm with you. I don't fucking hike. Like,
nah, but it's decent that there with nature and everything like that. I think yes.
I was about to start saying random names. Like,
just a weird tidbit, but I like that a park is like their thing. I wish we can just have parks we go to and shit.
Amanda,
I don't worry about getting robbed at my park.
Hey, what park?
He said nice, like the weather went.
Nobody told you to go to Malcolm X Park.
Weather nice out here. Get fucking wallet up.
Son, I just came here to enjoy the birds. Yeah, you gonna be with them if you don't give me the money.
I need
like,
your life too. $5. Yeah, I need your life too.
That's all I have.
I'm broken.
You should have saw my foot poking through my shoes. Fuck you robbing me for? But
you good.
No, like I said, I love I definitely love the lyricism that they use here. It's always like poetry with RM, and then V just kind of puts you in that mood regardless of his voice, no matter how deep the lyrics are. I just love, one of my favorite words in Hangul is dalbichi or dalbit, which is moonlight, and they always referencing moonlight and just kind of like you said, the passage of time and seasons and everything like that. I think it's so dope just the way they use it, or the way they employ the wordplay and everything like that, and just how poetic it is. Like I said, on a sonic level though, is where I'm more impressed with this song, because I had this on SoundCloud. I'm not gonna act like I'm on SoundCloud a lot or listen to it, but I have heard this before, like a long time ago. I want to say maybe after we did V Night, because this was one of the ones I thought we would have did and we didn't do. So I've been listening to it since then, and like I said, not a frequent everyday thing, but I know the melody and the rhythm of this song and everything. So it's just beautiful, man. It's very relaxing. Like I said, it's ironic that he feels this is how he feels at dawn, and I'm more so thinking it's like a dusky song. But nevertheless, though, man, I'm never not impressed with kind of like when they do subunit songs, even more so than some solo songs and everything like that. Even though RM, man, I think at everything we've done and reacted to with him in it, he's kind of killed it no matter what. There is one live performance we have to like react to together. I can't believe we haven't done. But RM kills it, and the guys, I won't spoil it, but we definitely need to react to it. But yeah, just to wrap my part up with this, I like this song a lot. I think it's very somber, but still very relaxing and kind of tranquil. This is a song I could definitely take like a bath to, like soak in the tub or something like that. Mainly just take showers and stuff, but this is definitely like a soak in the tub kind of glass of wine song, in my opinion. So
Yeah, like okay, so yeah, okay, I'm right. And the Redeemers were right too with the whole dumpling incident. Talking about War of the Dumpling. There's a duet. They was talking. Okay, so they had a conversation about this on one of the 2020 festas that they were doing.
Some of the fans call this festival.
It's literally the joint right here talking about the dumpling incident again. After fighting about the dumplings, Jimin went out with a drink with Sugar, and they both got drunk. When he met up with V at the park to talk things over, he still was drunk. V recorded it and captured it on camera.
Sounds like me.
Usually friends want to immortalize their happy memories, but V is holding on to the aftermath of a fight. At the time, the dumpling incident wasn't funny, but it's hilarious in retrospect. Later on, V ended up writing 4 o'clock because that was the time him and Jimin met up at the park. For years, fans speculated that the verse was about that, and now everything kind of makes perfect sense when they talked about it. At a dusky park, a nameless bird that sings.
See, dusky.
We are we are you. Oh, you, why are you crying? You and I are the only ones here, me and you. Yeah, okay, so he's kind of talking directly to him and everything like that. So beautiful, man. And sometimes certain shit ain't healthy no more. Back then when I was younger and I would like physically fight like my friends and stuff, you would kind of grow closer and everything like that. Now if I fight you and shit, we probably just fighting every time I see you, especially if I feel like I lost.
I feel like I'm 30 now. If you
my knee hurt
where I want to seriously, yo. If we fight right now, you might as well just get ready to die because every time I see you, I'm trying to kill
shit
your
up
ass.
every time I see you, man.
I'm not
I got my gun on me too.
Matter of fact, you might want to fuck me up the first time. You might want to make me not want to fight again. That's how bad it got to get now because I don't have no energy for this fighting shit right now.
Yeah, all that to say that, and obviously it's not the case with them, but I've seen people who didn't like each other or who had arguments or were combative with each other groom and turn into like best friends and shit like that.
That was me and Ted in high school. We fought in like 10th grade and then became like this and shit.
I only really like that from those type of days. I feel like you have to be at a certain age. Yes,
we fought over some stupid shit. Well, he disrespected me, but I mean, it was stupid on his part. So.
Oh no, sometimes and like I said, I'm not of that right now, but sometimes if you feel like someone is being super disrespectful, then I definitely get the whole I think we should throw hands.
And that's why I like sometimes the internet is like that because I never had nobody like go crazy on me on Twitter or no shit like that. This shit though, this reaction things like some of these shit people say in these comments talking a little greasy. And like I said, I'm not even a violent man, but I'm like, you're not going to disrespect me. But I think that's just like the way of the internet.
My father always said respect is due to a dog.
Exactly. Yeah.
Words have consequences. So I'm talking to you a certain way. If you talk to me a different way, we can handle shit however you want.
Let's just start getting a little crazy and it should be like Akbar Maruk or some shit. Tell the dude with the fucking hat to shut the fuck up. And I was like, yo, who the fuck? Like, you know, but I look like a fool arguing with an anonymous
I'm human first.
Yeah, I'm a man first, bro. I'm a man first, bro. Like all that greasy talking shit that y'all be doing in these comments. Like one of these days, somebody, it won't be me. I'm just saying, like you never know. You say the wrong thing to the wrong person and everything like that. It ain't gonna be no 4 o'clock in the park.
You better hope
if we meet 4 o'clock in the park, it's gonna be more thrown than some words.
I get closer to you, better hope it's still life after we
beat the DNA out your ass.
You'll be lonely in it, I see you.
Gonna beat the blood, sweat, and tears out your ass.
It's supposed to be positivity. They patched it up after they were.
Yeah, you gonna be patched up, all right.
Nah, but this is beautiful, man. I'm just happy. I'm happy V was able to reconnect with his soulmate and make sure everything was right because you can't have soulmates that are just friends. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad after all that, regardless of what happened. Thank you, I love you. I'm glad that pushed their relationship farther. It probably helped them get a lot of stress off when they was getting their shit off or whatever. And I'm glad they were able to reconcile. And then, of course, it would be Suge to go out with Jimin and get drunk with him. and shit. After we just seen it on the suit,
Bro,
remember?
I feel like Sugar always down for the lick. Yeah.
He was like, "Yo, who said who down there?" Someone said they got licked. Remember
That shit was
in the
so
soup
fun.
joint?
Whiskey? Yeah, is that whiskey?
Jump on the Patreon. Yo, the in the soup is
After
crazy.
2
yo,
Johns, he's like, I'm gonna call it a night.
So-
I
I'ma
feel like
call it
somebody
a night.
probably go in the kitchen and sneak like, no, let's not wake you.
Who was all that? It was Hope
And Jen.
Hope, Jim, and no who?
Hope, Jen, and
Oh,
if I'm
okay.
not mistaken, Cook, Suge. Excuse me.
Sugar,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna
yeah.
say Cook.
Wait, so it was that was Hope, Jim, and Suge, right?
I
Yeah.
believe so.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because didn't they do the horror shit that day? Was that the
That's when they went and go look
That's
in
when
the-
they went to go to the
And
abandoned
J-Ho
house.
started cussing like, Shiba.
I'm sorry if you're not on that
That was
Patreon.
funny.
That was the funniest shit from the episode.
Seeing the angry J-Hope with some funny shit.
when it just kept bleeping, when it was
Yeah, I
like,
was like, yo.
he was like, yo, Jimmy made me curse.
It's like J-Hope don't sound so hopeful. And he came back with the John with the confessional with his shades on like, yeah, don't fucking scare me. Like, I was like, oh
Don't
shit.
scare
He's
me.
like, yo,
He's like, we got scared.
We
Yeah,
got scared.
we got scared.
So we got
He's like,
scared.
we got scared.
That
It
edit
me.
was so funny.
I was like, oh shit. I'm gonna fuck with angry Hosook.
It's kind of like the This Is the End, John, where it's like some not so chill shit happened last
Oh,
night.
yeah.
It's like right after the chaotic
right
shit.
after the chaotic.
I
shit.
just love that kind of editing. It was so funny.
Yeah, and I don't want to go on a super tangent before you get your point out because I don't want to say I think like maybe why V is the center or around maybe some of the disputes or back and forths is probably because from what I've seen on like American Hustle Life and from what I've seen earlier on, he definitely was like kind of more goofy and more like kind of, and then you could see that it looked like he matured and
He
was
definitely
trying to
matured
chill.
a lot and became like very like
I'm
not
just
rigid because he still got that goof to him at times and
Reserved,
everything.
I suppose.
But it's
more
just like,
reserved.
you could just see the maturity in him now and kind of just like he's on his own time with things, and I think that's what it is more than kind of.
But it is
because he doesn't seem like he minces his words or hold back.
It is
what he
it
gotta
is
say.
weird because it's like he's so reserved, but like you still see the goofiness. Like he's goofy as shit still with
Yeah.
certain shit, but it be seeming like sometimes he just don't be on that shit for the day. Which most of the times me be Suge too and shit, where it's just like they the two that at least for the most part seem like some days it's just
The thing with V is really just on his own time, because he like how he woke up like, yo, make me breakfast. Like anybody else, the average person saying that to you, like, bro, get the fuck out of here. But you could tell like that's kind of like him, and like the members know that that's him and everything like that. So it'll be like, okay, cool, whatever, just something like that. And I feel like he's not selfish either. He'll like look out for you or support you and be there for you. I don't feel like he's that kind of guy where you be like, yo, he demands a lot or he's asking of so much or blah, blah, blah. But, bro, I'm reciprocal. Like, I'll do whatever for you. Like, it doesn't matter.
I think the members have shown that like throughout now. Like I had a whole conversation. I'm sorry, Kurt, I'm gonna let you get your shit off. I had a whole conversation by myself and shit talking to Redeemers, just about the selfishness of like all of them. How like all of them. It's been a
Selflessness?
yes. Did I say that so fast?
I think you said selfishness.
No, selflessness. But like we've seen enough with them to see how genuine they are when it comes to certain things. I was telling Redeemers about how like I'm pretty sure in y'all life y'all had instances where family came to support something, but you ain't feel like the support was really support. Where sometimes people just show up to save face, or people show up just to be like, well, I came. Versus when
like an obligation as opposed to
As opposed
Yeah,
to-
I was there because I had to be nothing.
yeah, as opposed to it being love. When BTS show up to people shit, like let's say V is having like a photo shoot or something, when RM, Hope, and all of them show up, it's gifts, feeding the staff.
The behind the scenes of RM with the Do You video that
yes.
we've seen Jimin show up to Hobie Palooza and everything, literally flying across the country,
country
with
to
him
make
just
sure he was
just to
good.
be with him. Like instances like that aren't just small things that are really like,
In times where you can tell, like, it ain't for cameras, where it's almost like, oh, I have food, but, like, it don't gotta be for, I just wanted to make sure, you know what I mean? Where this not for cameras, it ain't nothing for anything but y'all. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody, they may sound fucked up. If I was to go to the military next week and I told, quote unquote, like, 30 of my friends to come see me off, I'm expecting 5 people to show up.
Damn, really?
Probably. It depends. It depends on who I ask and shit like that. But it's all that to say I'm probably being super hyped because I probably might have 30 people that actually show up. But
I know I'll be there just
strip like. I don't want to make my friends seem shitty, but
Nick non-reactor friends watching this like, yo,
out of 100, shout out to my homies watching this and shit. Well, even then with certain shit, like I'm really not trying to turn this on a tangent. Some niggas call me just like, yo, everything okay in life? You posting all these K-pop niggas and you know what's going on? Da-da-da. I'm just like, bro, I'm fucking doing me. Like, you know what
happy,
I mean? So I'm happy and shit. So you know what I mean? But it's.
I think that was another thing that upset me last week too, because it's just like, yo. Y'all like kind of like put us into like a corner of like who we are and how we feel about this, but like I be facing real life shit, or not like real life shit, because I don't give a fuck. But I'll have people in my life that's like, yo, you good, bro? Like, what's all this shit you doing? Like, it's something you want to tell us and all this. I'm like, bro, I post music. Like, I still post whatever. Like, I still give it up, you know, how I used to give it up and everything like that.
I had people ask, and I'm not going to get into particular shit, but I had people say side comments that made it seem like it was something else.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just kind of leave it at that.
We know what it is.
Yeah, and I'm going to just kind of leave it at that.
Like I said,
I'm comfortable with myself. I don't give a fuck about nobody.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I'll be on here screaming and still go knock something down. I did it last week. So, like, you know, I don't lose no sleep over that, but it is interesting since the topic of, like, friendship and everything like that. People who I used to hang out with, you don't see me with them no more. You know, I'm around different people because I'm on different shit. Mm-hmm. You know, that's just the nicest way to put it. A lot of people be like, "Yo, we don't hang anymore. We don't do this, or what happened to Bliss, blah, or this and blah blah blah." Like, bro, I didn't change up. It's just my circumstances and my life changed, so I have to adapt to that. You know, it's a lot more going on. I have my kids and stuff to worry about. You know, just things like that. You got different things in life, and right now I can't really. I can't do some of the shit I was doing at 21. It don't make no sense for me at 30 to be doing the shit I was doing at 21.
I'm glad I'm not doing the shit I was doing at 21.
No, I was wilding the fuck out. Even in the Air Force and being married, I was wilding the fuck out at 21. So it's just like, I can't be, you know, I can't be that person anymore or whatever that you thought I was. And I think that's kind of dope after we just reacted to the inner child and this. Some people, you just outgrow people and you grow. Like I said, I'm not above anyone, but I'm above certain actions and circumstances. And I think that's kind of the things that happen and go along with this. So when I haven't talked to people in years or consistently in years, and then they see me and I'm posting like these guys, and I'm posting, you know, like Tay Day, or I'm posting in Hangul, and I'm like this, or just even non-shit like this, like the Wednesday Addams thing. I post that, mother like, bro, you was watching this? I'm like, yeah, I watched this shit, nigga. Like, you know, and then when I sit back and realize like how many people, like the pandemic was the nail in me cutting a lot of people off or just moving on naturally from people. It wasn't even like I don't fuck with them anymore, I had a problem with them. It was just, I've been in here so long. The only people I'll see is my mom, my kids, of course, my siblings, and then y'all. I would go straight to y'all house. That was the only place I was going during the pandemic for real, besides working. I was home, gym, y'all crib, you know, or your old crib and everything like that, hanging out with y'all. And then once we got the building here, you know, that was a wrap. So it's just I'm on a different type of time now, and the friends that I would feel this way about, how V feels about Jim and everything. Pretty much you know, actually, yeah. It kind of really is like you and shit like that. You the first person I tell a lot of shit as of late. You the first person I'm like, yo, what's going on?
Talk about everything, I know.
Yeah, I feel like checking on everybody in the crew though, because like when Jarek is not, I'm like, yo, bro, everything good? Zach, everybody straight? Kurt, I actually meant to give Kurt a call one day. I was about to call Kurt while I was at Kelly Drive one day. I was thinking about Kurt. This is while he wasn't here. As soon as I'm about to give him a call, I got a fucking Uber request to go do work and shit. And then the next thing you know, he pops up. I'm like, oh shit, you know, look at that time, and he pops up here or whatever. It was, you know, when you came back and everything.
You told me about that.
Yeah. So I was like, damn, that's kind of crazy how, you know, things like that work. But I'm more likely to see what's up with you guys because I see you frequently. We have something currently going on that we're all intrinsic, you know, tied to and everything like that. So that kind of thing matters to me.
It's funny you mentioned that because I'm trying to stay on point a little bit, but I want to jump back to your point because I told them like I was fighting depression again probably for like the past couple months.
Yeah.
Like, you know, just do the family shit, trying to make sure everybody is around me right and everything. You
the guy.
At least I try to be. Yeah. But especially last couple of weeks, I done had conversations with friends who I've been friends with since 04, 06. Reconnecting, talking to some people, making sure people is cool. I'm not on the same type time as them no more.
Bro, it's totally different conversation. I'm like, bro, what's going on with you? This shit, like, yeah.
He's like, you posting purple hearts, bro? Like, what that mean and shit. And I'm just like, dog, I'm cool, man. Like, I'm like you said, I already know I fuck with y'all, and regardless of, you know what I mean, whatever goes on, even, you know, when I was making sure, you know, to bring Kurt back into the fold and making sure he was good, he my brother regardless of anything that goes on. You my brother regardless of anything that goes on. So even when, like I said, even like the little back and forth, all that stuff, I love y'all to death. Y'all ain't going nowhere. Nothing is going to happen with y'all and everything. And for niggas to be questioning me, or for certain things to be happening for motherfuckers I done bled for, and then did, you know, then paid and made sure people was good for stuff. The holidays this year definitely let me know, like, I felt good with cutting certain people off and shit like that. And that's why I was doing a reaction and shit. And I literally was like thinking about all of us when we first started. And I just started like crying and shit, like, you know what I mean, during like a reaction and shit. And I'm just like, dog, like, this shit is deep. And just to bring it back to what you were saying, that's how come sometimes even going back and forth with certain people, like, oh, well, you don't like this and you don't like that. And I'm like, ain't nobody never gonna tell me how I feel about certain shit when I done cut motherfuckers off for K-pop. Like, you know,
real shit. Like, I'm like, bro, and like I said, and I mean, we could probably do like another Q&A video where we can get more of this out, because I definitely want this reaction to kind of be this. But that is very true. It's like, I get some, like I said, with the whole thing. Matter of fact, yeah, we'll just do a Q&A and kind of address certain things.
This is going on YouTube, so everybody can get this.
Yeah, we'll do a Q&A and kind of get more into details. But yeah, I cannot understate how much K-pop in general, but specifically beats. Remember, because I got both of them at the same time. I didn't get just BTS first. I got everything at pretty much the same time, and we're congruently, you know, or simultaneously getting everything. So it's not like that to me. Those things are not going to seem. It's going to be a lot more interchangeable to me than you guys. And I don't value certain things as strong as you do, namely like Stan Twitter and stuff like that. But like I said, we'll do a Q&A on that. But just to kind of be like, for when having to deal with the real life shit, when just me posting something, people are like, oh, you think you fucking Korean, which is a toxic thing we have going on in our community. I don't know how other communities do that shit, but anytime you do something outside of that, oh, you think you this, or oh, you think you that, or essentially like, you know,
coming from everywhere. It was like, oh, what's this, like the Joe Budden podcast, but y'all do Koreans, just like hating ass little shit. You know, y'all know I'm very straightforward when I'm talking.
Exactly. I'll tell people, so like, you got something to say,
so
bro?
What that mean? Like,
yeah, I'm like, and what you doing, bro? And anytime somebody like,
oh no, not like,
I want to fuck with real niggas, don't be listening to this, and I'll be like, bitch, what you listen to? What you want me to listen to, Dirk? You want me to listen to some shit about killing? What if I'm not in that mood?
And
I'm not in that
I still listen to that.
Yeah, like I still listen to everything. But what if my day? I don't want my whole day listening to kind of like something negative or something like that. What's the problem with me listening to that? Like I said, and I tell anybody, like, if you got a real problem, you know, we could. What Matt Damon say on
Goodwill Hunting?
I mean, we can step outside.
We can step outside, bro, if it's really that deep. And I know I come off as very confrontational, but I got like a short fuse for like disrespect or people interrogating me. I don't know. It just makes me feel a certain type of way. So when that stuff happens, that's when I start to turn into like the Lodi. I'll be like, yo, Lo, what's going on? You know, I don't like being interrogated. So, you know, just stuff like that, or questioned, or I don't like being mocked either. So that type of thing happens with, you know, friends when they don't understand what you're going through or what you have going on. Like I said, just tying this in with this, the Mondu incident could have been something like that. Maybe V's being inconsiderate to whatever Jimin had going on, or Jimin's just probably thinking about himself and not thinking about, you know, dog, this nigga's probably hungry as shit. So just in a grander scale, tying that in, you never know what your friends, even when you're tapped in, you don't know their mind all the time. You can even know somebody like super deep, but just one day they could just be having some internal or personal shit going on, and instead of kind of just going out the way and being condescending, or, you know, ask what's going on first. Ask like, yo, is it really this deep, or how you feel about this and stuff like that. Like I said, niggas don't know that I went through depression through the pandemic, and last year after I got in that fucking accident, I could have fucking died. My whole life flashed before me. All I thought about was not being able to get back to my kids and stuff like that. I didn't really tell nobody about that. I told you about that. I maybe told like a few other people and stuff like that, and I posted the pics or whatever, but I didn't really go into detail on it because I didn't want that to define the rest of my year. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want my year to be defined in negativity. I get into these guys and everything like that, and I start feeling so happy. Well, before that, I lost my cousin, one of my favorite cousins. She died at the age I am now. She died at 30 last year. So that shit kind of hit hard, and I was really going through it. Only people I had was y'all.
You was with us.
Yeah, I'm with y'all all year, still filming, still doing stuff and everything like that. Not really telling nobody I'm depressed, just because I don't want to say that's not my brand, but that's not my spirit. You know me. I'm coming.
Sometimes it'd be like, did anybody even really give a fuck?
Yeah, I'm like, what I'm about to go tell somebody
like,
for, and somebody
know,
be like, yo, that's crazy.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I'm fucked up too. Or people turn it into
trying to go out, bro. Like, it'd be like, nigga, what? Like, you know, I just told you I'm fucking having crazy thoughts and shit like that. But it's that type of thing, like I said, just even tying it in with this. Sometimes you do have to ask or be a little bit more compassionate with your friends, or, you know, just when they're going through stuff, because you never know where that can go. So this whole thing just kind of like I said, I'm glad I have y'all here, and that's why I take this so serious sometimes, and I'm so enthusiastic about this, because it did get me out of a dark place. But like I said, as far as like addressing the redeemers or clearing the air or whatever like that, we could just do a Q&A again. A live Q&A. I think we overdue for one, actually.
Yeah, nah, and it was obviously this week a lot of stuff got thrown off, because I definitely wanted to have a Q&A. We were supposed to do like the top 5, but I think that'll be for the first week of like January. But yeah, that was kind of my whole spill too, was just that it's ironic that, you know what I mean, that I literally, if y'all go look at the videos before this, was talking about just depression, about friends and everything, and then them being able to kind of reconcile stuff with someone, like I said, well, I think they call each other like a soulmate, or one of them said it before or something like that. And I know Redeemers joke about it all the time, that the Veman thing is like, you know, like they soulmates and stuff. And you got to keep those connections, especially with people who are good for you and genuinely care about you. And that's always my biggest mindset with a lot of things now, where it's just like, people who are toxic or don't want the best for you, cut them out your life. Do not have them around. And if they're envious of you, jealous, not supportive of the things that you're doing, don't have them around.
And you know the difference between someone being toxic for you or just not helpful. Just because they don't agree with you with everything.
Don't mean they're not
sometimes
toxic.
you need to listen to the constructive criticism that they're saying, or you need to kind of hear other sides of it out, because you're not always right. You know, and that's one thing I learned with myself, you know, a couple years back. I'm not always right about things, which is why I try to.
Got him say nah.
Me, I say when I'm wrong.
Nah, that was our thing for me. It was like, Lo's not wrong. Nah, and that's and I tell y'all that all the time. I'll be like, bro, I'm not always right, and if I'm wrong, y'all can tell me. And I'm even taking that into reacting and everything too, with certain comments and other things where it's like, you know what, maybe I read something wrong, or maybe you know, someone making a comment had a bad day or something, and this was their outlet too.
Still
whatever.
don't come here cussing me out, bro.
Well, certain shit I'm not gonna let you get off on me and shit. But like, you know, I'll take that into consideration, and even certain times where like we've done videos and everything, and it was just like, all right, you know, was I wrong about that? Even the video that we did, not to re-bring up Gates and shit like that, but with the girls, with the whole sports things, the fanatics or whatever. Thing.
That was one of my favorite,
and
that's some of my favorite engagement ever.
Ever.
If I
best conversations
I don't think
ever
I can,
came from there.
I don't think I can overstate how much I appreciate like our Patreon redeemers. Because not only that, I mean, we do get some people on YouTube too, but most of the time it's them that'll go to YouTube and they be like, yo, are y'all all right? Is everything okay? We put your, you know, you guys put your health first, put this first and stuff like that, as opposed to like where YouTube, sometimes a lot of them, we don't have that connection with them. A lot of them just be like, yo, react to this, react to this, react to this, react to this. Like, bro, you just see me fucking in tears for like 30 minutes and shit. And you like, yo, react to this, react to this. So it is refreshing that it's not just request. It's very much so a community, and people like understand, appreciate us, and, you know, just kind of, you know, will ask those questions, because I think that says a lot. I don't really see that on YouTube unless someone is straight up saying like, yo, I'm going through something.
I've seen certain people, or a nice amount, just be like, yo.
No, not on our YouTube. I'm talking about in general. With other reactors. I only watch like a few other reactors and stuff like that. But just in people who do like vlogging and content and stuff like that, usually you only see it when a person comes straight up and says like, yo, I'm going through something. I'm experiencing something sad right now. or something of that ilk. But yeah, like I said, I really can't overstate how much I appreciate our redeemers, man. No matter what fandom they're from.
Like you said, Lo, I think that literally was some of my favorite feedback ever. I was engaging with everybody, and I appreciated when people was like, you know what, we can tell y'all aren't bullshitters neither, because we were open to conversation. I was open to DMs. They put us on other videos about the topic. It made me also be a little bit more sensitive. And I am working on trying to make sure like we articulate ourselves even more in depth with certain conversations that way. Because I think you mentioned it a few times, Kurt, that sometimes it's a language barrier. Yeah. So sometimes we may say something and someone
comes
be like,
off crass or like insensitive. Yeah.
Yeah. And just by little shit like we said, they carried. And someone be like, well, what does that mean?
They thinking that means they carried the whole group
the entire group
yeah.
or the song. Because if that's, and it's just like, well, no, we didn't mean it. This means this to us. But you can jump in, Kurt. I feel like you haven't really like.
No, I was just taking in kind of all your guys' points, and definitely, ironically, that's something that I think is also kind of big in the metaphor of all this, is really just listening to what someone else has to say. And I'm not saying that about me, of course, necessarily, but I just mean in general, like, as far as like if you're opening up about something or anything like that, like the willingness to kind of listen to those things and just be perceptive to them, as opposed to like, oh, do you mean this or is it this? And it's just like, well, if you just wait like 2 minutes, you kind of allow someone to kind of get that out. Because again, you don't know who has an outlet. I mean, we've seen this with K-pop in general. A lot of people might not have an outlet to kind of talk about these things. A lot of people might be judged for liking K-pop, liking BTS, any of these things. I mean, I know we certainly have seen it up here, just in our own experiences. But just briefly to kind of tie into some of that point, was basically, and I'm not going on a long tangent, of course, but it's just basically like, when people would say, like, if you were to kind of ask, like, what does K-pop mean to you or anything like that, and not saying that that's necessarily about this video or anything, but keeping with some of that friendship aspect as well, is like, I mean, just in general, all the shit that we've seen, just kind of growing up around here, being around here, life experiences, that kind of shit. So it's like when you kind of have moments where, like, there's moments K-pop literally, like, makes me, like, just forget that the world is cold. You know what I mean? So there's something to be had with that, where it's just, it infuses you with positivity that either you didn't know you needed, didn't know was out there, or again, just gets you on a wavelength where you're not necessarily so cold to kind of the world around you. And I just think there's something really important in that for really any human. And I'm not making that necessarily about this or anything, but friendship also kind of ties into that. Cutting off people that may be toxic to you, or you feel that they aren't willing to change or aren't willing to kind of reach out to you, or I don't even want to say reciprocate your concerns or anything like that. But again, when you kind of have been through certain experiences with people, you would think that there'd be that established kind of connection to where it's like, if you've been through all of these things, that should be enough for you to kind of at least have the foundation to kind of have those kind of relationships. But oftentimes, and I try to be perceptive of that as well. People have their own lives going on and things like that. But it's something. It does kind of, a lot of times, especially as you had said, after the pandemic and everything, a lot of kind of things do become a lot more clear to you. And I do think it's important to kind of always value yourself and be aware of kind of those connections and be aware of how the people around you influence you. You want people that feed your fire, not
try to put it out.
Douse it, yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily have to be just career-wise or anything like that, but just, on an emotional level, a mental level, of course, even, physical levels, of course. Whether it's working out or getting in shape or anything, just anything to kind of forward yourself as a person. So there's many different facets to that, of course, but I do think that's really important. And just to kind of briefly touch on one of the other points was, even in general, like, my mindset was always like, even with the Redeemers and everything like that, was like, if we can show up for one day and provide content that's going to make someone smile or get someone through their tough times or anything like that, and not only that, but also take me away or you away or any of us away from our tough times, that's something that reciprocates. And that's an energy that I feel is just always going to be inherent and always going to kind transfer and be positive in one way or
Who ain't
another.
Army singing?
And likewise, the vice versa side of that. And of course, you got to, be aware of your own health and everything like that too, and kind of know kind of when to walk that tightrope. But basically, if you feel like, that is something that's going to help other people to where it's like, like if I can tough this out for one night, there might be 10,000+ people that are able to see this and reciprocate and be happy. And likewise, the energy, we share up here. I mean, even just talking about this with the inner child thing previously was like, we might not have remembered exactly the song at the moment, but then it was like, oh, I remember our reaction to that or when we brought that up. So it's just like, there's so much synergy between the music itself and kind of our reactions up here.
Exactly.
To where those things just have a strong hold, I would say, at least for me. And I'm not trying to make this any bit of a, kind of long dive or anything like that, but just I just think it's really important, and I like that kind of messages and motifs and themes of friendship in general that kind of transpire in here can lead to some of those stronger connections where it's like going through a tough thing is really something that's ultimately going to solidify a relationship or a friendship, as opposed to just be something that inherently takes away from it, because it allows for growth. And I forget who had said the metaphor exactly, but basically, I think it was like something like almost like a rubber band. Like if something pulls you back, it's only to propel you kind of forward in a way, or use it as momentum to kind of propel you forward. I just think some of the same kind of motif plays into friendships in a way, where some of the things that you might feel in the present are kind of things that hold you back are often the things that kind of allow you to propel forward together like that. But yeah, that was basically what I was going to say in relation to that. But in relation to the song, at least, is like I definitely love the voices of both RM and V, and kind of how they juxtapose each other in a great way. And I do think that RM's singing voice is something that I never want to like understate, because I do think he has a really incredible voice. And of course, this is in light of Indigo, but nonetheless, this being a few years before that, at least if I'm not mistaken. I just think that was one of the really early signs of kind of, so it basically all I have to say, seeing where he's at now with Indigo is something that made me really happy again in retrospective, kind of seeing this. And then basically, just a little bit about V's verse that I like is like when he had said writing a letter to the moon, and then saying that basically it still wouldn't be as bright as you, it's only a small candle. So what the moon represents being the only light in darkness, and saying that moon that's only that is all of the light in darkness is still a small candle compared to the light you bring. And obviously that's about Jimin and everything like that, and I just think that was a really great metaphor as well. And ironically, during because it was all somber and kind of acoustic, it seemed like, with the guitar, like just one of those almost around the campfire type of songs that we say with some of the acoustic guitar beats, where it's just really mellow and allows like just a little bit of a groundwork kind of for you to essentially get some things off your chest or tell a story. But when the beat really kicked in is literally when he mentioned essentially "That's You" about Jimin. So it was literally like the beat progressed when he mentioned Jimin. So I just thought that in the production element was really great as well. And I like how you had said too with the whole 4 o'clock thing, where it's like you thought it would be dusk, and it was actually like the dawn aspect of it. And then a little bit of the thing that I like about that within the hook is basically where it's basically it creates it almost feels like it's telling a story of V being kind of almost sad or somber at night seemingly, and basically listening to Jimin's voice specifically, if that's the correct metaphor, of course, is essentially what brings him that morning. Like you're essentially like your voice, and kind of it could even be like just your relationship to them, because obviously singing voice, but literally it could just be a friendship voice, like just your interaction with me, your voice is something that brings like a brightness to my morning, and gets me through kind of those deeper, darker nights seemingly. So just that kind of healing essence is something that I thought was really great, because it says the blue shade that strayed from me basically disappears. So I thought that was really great as well. And again, it's really the voice inflections as well that he portrayed in there. But then lastly, the thing I was really going to bring up was RM's verse, as far as how he had brought up Moonchild. Yeah. Essentially. And
one of the better songs off Mono, which is, I mean, pretty all good songs anyway.
It's my second favorite, I would say.
My second favorite.
Tokyo's my favorite.
So
Yeah, no, and I love those songs too. Of course.
Tokyo's
It was
definitely
but I like that he had mentioned Moonchild essentially, basically, because he says the world strips me naked, the sun suffocates me. So it's like everything about being in the day is kind of what is so hard for me to kind of endure, to where it's like I can only feel like I can be myself at night. And just essentially everyone is kind of children of the moon, the whole Moonchild thing, where it's like we're all these innocent creatures that essentially are just kind of trying to heal our shattered selves under the moon. So I just thought that was really great that he tied that back into this. And then, you know, the hook that V had written essentially about how Jimin's voice or his friendship or connection to him, and honestly the members at large, I'm sure, but just knowing that that's the specific incident is kind of what gets you through that dark night. So it's almost as though that he's tying that Moonchild shattered self in to connect with the moon aspect of it as far as like the healing aspect. So I thought that was done incredibly well also. And ironically, the end of his verse ties into Moonlight itself, the movie, where he had said basically my entire world was blue inside the moonlight. And then he said just like that movie. So I think RM's lyricism in there for sure was incredible as well, and it provided an incredible foundation as well for everything that V had done on this track as well.
Right.
But now, all in all, I really honestly connected to this a lot. I thought it was really beautiful, and just the fact that they were able to get to that place, just in their real life experiences. I mean, I know music is always going to be an outlet for artists where you want to express either, you know, your pain, your trauma, even your happiness. Just it's almost like, ironically, even with RM's Indigo album, it's just there's moments in your life that are going to be contained within a track that's never going to change. Like the track's never going to go away. And much like how you had said with him with the video, taking a video, which traditional feels like very much in Tay fashion.
Definitely.
I just think that's really special as well, as far as these time capsule moments that now they can look back on and laugh. But of course, they must have been really painful in the moment. And I do like the comforting soothingness in V's voice, where he's essentially like, you know, why are you the one who's crying? You know, like it almost feels like it's like, and I'm not saying that this is particular, of course, but it almost feels like it's like, why are you the one who's crying? Almost as though it's like him taking ownership of like, I'm the one who's kind of in the wrong, or at least that connection of where you begin to understand where each other's coming from.
Yeah.
And then him almost taking on that persona where it's like, I want to be the one to kind of comfort you and kind of ease whatever tension you may feel. Because there's a lot of overthinking that goes into those things. Of course, you had said, you know, the drinking with Suge thing. It's like, I mean, Jimin could have very well been in the mindset where it's like, I might lose my best friend, or I might lose this connection that has been so important to me. And vice versa. It's like, what does that mean for the group? I mean, I can just imagine how much overthinking would be going into that. And then it's like, oh my God, how do we talk about this to Army, or how do we show these things? You know, so much of our lives are documented. Like, there must have been a trillion things kind of going through his head, to where it kind of makes those moments of like V basically saying like, yo, like, you know, why are you the one who's crying? Like, you know, and just kind of getting to that place where it's not as combative anymore.
Definitely not.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just something really special about this, and I like what it represents for the Army journey as well. But certainly just two humans kind of who went through something, who get to that place of reconciliation. And just that those relationships are always going to be stronger than any little dispute that's going to occur within that.
Right.
But yeah, I just found this really beautiful, really healing, both vocally and lyrically.
Good job. Good job. Great talk. Yeah.
Yeah, jump in the comments. Tell us how y'all felt. We talked about a lot of stuff, like in this video.
I'll go in and timestamp.
Yeah, but I definitely do want to hear like what y'all had to say with a lot of parts on here, especially about the whole people questioning you about K-pop stuff. Cause I like asking y'all more questions now too, because on Patreon I was asking people, I was like, yo, who joined after Dynamite? Cause I never really asked that. Like,
and that's what I was about to say
when
too.
Butter
like,
came.
I'm a proud Butter Army.
And that's fine, but I've never heard.
No, I'm just saying, like, I represent
almost.
what time I came in and everything like that. And I'm glad it's documented too. Not that I would lie regardless, but like, I'm glad it's documented. I'm a big Butter Army, so, and I rock off with, you know, I go off like that. Shout out to people who came in. You know, clearly Dynamite is the biggest wave ever.
Yeah, but I don't give a fuck if you came last month. You here now?
Well, shit, I don't look down on nobody. Like, as long as you come in and you know, have the energy or you're trying to learn about them and everything like that, I think that's dope. Because technically I'm a No More Dream army. Like that's when I was like, excuse me. That's when I was like, oh, I'm going. That's the reaction I watched again today.
Yeah, the No More Dream joint was when
that
you was like,
one of my.
Like, why ain't we playing this?
That's seriously maybe like top 2, top 3 reactions.
It was a good
ever.
reaction.
Just because like the way I completely changed over the course of one video, that shit was just like, oh, hold up. Nah. Now
I was
really
look at their gear. Yo.
Like, look, I'm like, bro, for real, that was dumb. That was a heated conversation.
You was like, I would have watched them during this.
Yeah,
oh, yeah, I remember that.
That was one of our better debates though, where it didn't even devolve into like a shouting match or nothing like that. As we all were getting our points off. It was me, it was us 3, Jarek and Keith. And we all, that was one of the better debates we've actually had. Even the feedback on there was some of the better feedback that
we was looking at feedback on videos too, just like, they didn't feel, the feedback is good.
I think we all love the January and February batch of reactions, like the Love Yourselves, the J-Hope Day songs and everything like that. January and February was definitely like when we hit our groove and like everybody was firing on all cylinders and everything like that, from like the Brain Trust, Jarek, Zach, Shy came in, the Nastai subunit, they was going in and shit like that too. So I think everyone was firing on all cylinders and everything. And obviously we had a lot going on this year, so things happen. But
and then
just looking back in retrospect, we definitely, the winter time was definitely like our groove.
Yeah, and this, and I had gave them a little bit of the tidbit on just, you know what I mean, when they don't see full panels and everything will be going on.
First of all, y'all, it's 7 o'clock. What time is it? 7:13 in the morning. So on a Tuesday morning. So just be, cognizant of that. Like sometimes we're starting to react a lot more during the week to kind of spread things out, just because, think about it. We all are adults and you got holidays and stuff going on. People have lives, people have relationships, things like that they have to tend to. So, definitely give it up to this guy here for coming in and doing all of that shit on Christmas Eve by itself. Me personally, I couldn't make it because I had promised my kids, I was going to be there. And after, like last Christmas was cool, but it wasn't as good as it could have been with them. I don't personally celebrate Christmas myself, but they do, and through my mom and stuff. So, I was like, no, I can't do that. I have to be there with them.
No,
not that you like pressured us or anything, but I think it's good to be transparent with them to show how much you've done. And obviously you've been in every video and you edit every video outside of what, maybe like 2. So that's 1,000 fucking videos. You're in every single one. You do all this. So I definitely, this guy here is dedicated. This guy here is very dedicated to this thing.
I'm only as strong as the team. So
but then the passion shines through too. It's like the actual reactions yourself. You're always, very.
Because even in Jones, I'll be like, there's very few videos that I'll be just like, oh, okay, something like that. I really have to be in like a bad mood or something. You still going? You still got the energy? You still like be going? So I definitely agree. You deserve that fanboy award.
Oh yeah, the fanboy.
You definitely deserve that fanboy award, because it was even some I look back, I was like, damn, I was not feeling shit at all, and stuff like that. And even, once I changed and got into K-pop and like I understood, K-pop and subsequently Bangtan and everything like that, I think it all goes into there. But thank you guys for watching this long.
Yeah, like I said, jump in the comments and let us know how y'all felt about it. We are gonna do a live Q&A. I'm gonna make sure it's probably gonna be after he comes back from his trip. That way, and Kurt has a birthday coming up. Yay!
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's gonna be after his trip. We'll do another live Q&A. We'll probably set it up here, do something along the lines of that.
Y'all gonna start getting more stuff in like the community posts just to keep y'all updated and no schedule.
All that stuff is
because a lot of questions y'all ask in the comments, it really could be kind of like.
It just was the noise outside.
That should sound like the John from Jurassic Park that spit on Newman.
Nah.
The Dilophosaurus.
The Dilophosaurus.
He's like, oh, wait a minute. But we the community post, like I said, we'll start putting more stuff in there, so you guys are abreast of things and kind of know like the reaction schedule, or at least at large, so it kind of curves some questions and stuff like that. But yeah. So like I said, jump in the comments and let us know how y'all felt about almost everything we talked about. We're going to have more open-ended discussions about certain things, especially bullying in K-pop, because I'm not going to turn this into a tangent, but
my whole spill, even when I was by myself talking to them, was definitely like, this will remain a safe place regardless of what's going on. And this is my home, this is y'all home, and we're not going to let intruders ever come in here and feel like they can dictate what goes on in our household. I always want people to feel like they can be themselves on the panel and in comments.
Shining through the city with a little funky soul.
Yeah, and if someone hating, we gonna light that bitch up like Donna. But make sure y'all subscribe, join the Patreon for more content like this. We love you guys. We'll holler at y'all.
y'all.
Peace.
Tay-Day!